What if the man you think is fine is actually deeply unhappy and doesn't even know how to say it? There's something strange about unhappiness. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. And when it comes to men, those whispers often go unnoticed. Not because they aren't there, but because they've learned over time to hide them. You see, many men don't express emotional pain in obvious ways. They don't always say, "I'm struggling." Instead, their behavior changes. Subtly, quietly. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. Let's talk about those small signs. The ones psychology tells us often point to a man who is deeply unhappy with his life. 1. He withdraws without explaining why. At first, it doesn't seem like a big deal. He just needs space, right? But then, the distance grows. He stops reaching out, stops engaging, stops showing up emotionally. This isn't just alone time. Psychologically, withdrawal is often a defense mechanism. When someone feels overwhelmed or disconnected from their own life, they start disconnecting from others too. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he doesn't have the energy to care the way he used to. 2. He's constantly irritated over small things. Little things start bothering him. A comment, a delay, a minor inconvenience. And suddenly, he snaps. But here's the truth. It's rarely about the small thing. Psychology calls this displaced frustration, when deeper emotions, like dissatisfaction, regret, or emptiness, go unaddressed. They leak out in unexpected ways. So the anger you see? It's often just the surface. 3. He loses interest in things he once loved. Think about what used to light him up. Hobbies, goals, conversations. Now, there's nothing. He might still go through the motions, but the spark is gone. This is one of the clearest psychological signs of internal struggle. When someone feels stuck or unhappy in life, their brain starts disconnecting from joy itself. It's not laziness, it's emotional exhaustion. 4. He distracts himself constantly. Notice how he's always busy? Scrolling, working, gaming, watching something, anything. It looks like productivity. But often, it's avoidance. Because silence is dangerous. In quiet moments, thoughts surface. Regrets, doubts, questions he doesn't want to face, so he fills every second with noise. Not because he enjoys it, but because he's trying to escape what's inside. 5. He feels stuck, but doesn't change anything. This one is subtle, but powerful. He complains about his life, his job, his routine, his situation. But he doesn't act, and it's easy to judge that. To think, why doesn't he just change it? But psychology explains this as learned helplessness. When someone feels like nothing they do will make a difference, they stop trying altogether. It's not a lack of desire, it's a loss of belief. 6. He struggles to express what he's feeling. Ask him what's wrong, and you'll probably hear, nothing. Not because nothing is wrong, but because he doesn't know how to put it into words. Many men were never taught emotional language. They feel things deeply, but don't have the tools to express them. So instead of opening up, they shut down. And over time, that silence becomes a prison. 7. He seeks validation in unhealthy ways. Sometimes unhappiness shows up as a need for approval. He might chase attention, overwork himself, or try to prove something constantly. Why? Because deep down, he doesn't feel enough. Psychology tells us that when internal validation is missing, people look for it externally. But no amount of praise can fill a space that self-worth is supposed to occupy. 8. He feels empty, even when things are fine. This is the hardest one to notice, because from the outside, his life looks okay, maybe even good. But inside, there's nothing. No excitement, no direction, no meaning, just emptiness. And that's the thing about deep unhappiness. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes, it's just a quiet sense that something isn't right. Here's the part most people don't talk about. A deeply unhappy man doesn't always ask for help. He doesn't always recognize what he's feeling, and often he believes he just has to deal with it. But ignoring these signs doesn't make them disappear. It makes them stronger. Over time, they turn into burnout, disconnection, even depression. If you see yourself in these signs, or someone you care about, start small. Awareness is the first step. Not fixing everything overnight. Not having all the answers. Just noticing, because once you notice, you can begin to understand. And once you understand, change becomes possible. Not easy, but possible. Unhappiness doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like silence, and that's where it becomes the most dangerous. Which of these signs do you think people ignore the most? And why do you think it's so easy to miss? If this made you pause or think about someone in your life, take a moment and share this video. Because sometimes awareness is the one thing that can quietly save someone. And if you want more psychology insights that actually change how you see people and yourself, subscribe and stay with me.